What is good, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. The movie I'm reviewing today is currently available for streaming on Amazon Prime, and there will not be any spoilers in this video. Also wanted to thank my friend Ryan for experimenting with thumbnails for my videos and making the thumbnail for today. Edward Scissorhands is directed by Tim Burton and stars Johnny Depp and Diane Wiest. Now, before we get into the movie, I do want to, of course, explain why I chose this as a part of a holiday winter theme. So I've kind of gone a different way away from specifically holiday, although I'm going to do Christmas movies. It's going to be more movies to watch when it's cold outside, and also fits into the cold season when you want to just feel warm. So this movie is bookended by when it's snowing out. So we have that, and the movie opens up where a grandmother is asked by a child, her granddaughter, where snow comes from. So it kind of has that in the history of the winter season, and also toward the end of the movie, it's clearly Christmas season, and also it's just a warm and this nice feeling movie to watch. It's very much a feel-good movie. So there's no specific time the movie takes place, but it's pretty much a fairy tale. It takes place in this, what Tim Burton looks at as the suburbs. So we kind of get an idea of how Tim Burton views people who live in the suburbs and live just in their ticky-tacky houses and live their generic lives. Obviously it's an exaggeration, but it's not far off kind of from what I've seen from personal experience, and also kind of the way I see it. So all these townspeople, they all dress the same. They all wear monotone colors, pink, yellow. There's no designs to their clothes. Very plain, very bland. All the men go to work and come home at the exact same time. All the housewives stay home, and they're all repressed on one level or another, and the only excitement in their life is gossip. And this gossip starts when Peg, who is, I would say, a co-main character with Edward, she's an Avon lady in the town. So for those who don't know about Avon, it's not prevalent anymore. But Avon, it's a makeup company. They go door to door, and they used to go door to door and sell makeup. Now, no one's buying it from her. So she looks up at the castle on the top of the hill above the suburbs. Now, the suburbs are colorful, looks beautiful on the surface, right? And then this castle up there, on first glance, looks scary. But Peg decides to go up there, and she sees this beautiful garden outside the castle. No one had ever been up there, by the way. And an old inventor used to live there. So she goes up there, sees this beautiful garden. She goes inside. The house is, dirty, dusty. And inside she finds Edward, who on first glance is very scary. He's pale. He has cuts on his face. He has this wild hair, which I'm still jealous of Johnny Depp's still being able to maintain his full head of hair, by the way. Side note. And also, the scariest part, he has knives for fingers, or scissors for fingers. Edward is a creation. He's not human. He was made up by this inventor played by Vincent Price, which, by the way, is one of my favorite parts of the movie. I want to say it now just in case I don't forget. Vincent Price is a horror movie icon. It goes back to the classics. Anyway, I believe this is one of his last movies. Anyway, he was Edward's inventor. And before he could complete Edward, the last piece was putting on his hands, he died. So Edward was left in the castle all alone, by himself. Edward is, now at first glance, like I said, Peg is scared, as anyone would be if they run into somebody with fingers for hands, or knives for fingers, but she can immediately see he's gentle and he's kind and he's nice. Now, she brings him to the town. Now, I used to be mad at her for doing this when I was younger and watched the movie, but more recently when I watch it, Peg is just the sweet and nice person. She reminds me of my grandmother. She can't see any flaws in anyone, which is why she brings him down to these townspeople, because it's like she trusts them. For some reason, she trusts them. But it's because she always lived there her whole life. She doesn't know anything else. Now, when she is introduced to Edward, she meets a truly genuine and kind, gentle being, or I'm just going to say spirit in this way. He's just perfect. And what's the irony that Tim Burton did here, that I'm able to understand more as I got older, is on the outward, Edward appears to be flawed. He has scissors for hands. He's scarred face. He's like a child, but inside he's perfect. He's sweet. He's nice. He's loving. And then the irony is, on the outside, the townspeople have the appearance of absolute perfection. We all wear the same clothes. We don't really have any personality. We all kind of do everything the same way. It's like they have fear of showing themselves, fear of being real. Now I'm just gonna do a little side rant because I did think about this when watching it last night. It kind of reminds me, and I never watch these channels, but I am aware of them, of these YouTube families who project this level of utter fakeness. They usually wear all white. If they have kids, they make the kids do the videos and they make them wear all white or wear all the same clothes. Their backgrounds are always perfect. It's like they never have any dirty laundry or they never left anything out. It's just that they want to have this appearance of utter perfection. I feel like they're exploiting their kids too, but that's a whole side note. And it's the exact opposite. They never curse, they don't drink, they don't do anything bad, right? But it's the exact opposite. When those cameras are off, we know that they're real human beings. They're flawed, they curse, they trip and fall, they leave dirty dishes in the sink. It happens. But anyway, so those types of people reminded me of these people. So to relate things to modern times to this movie, it's this outward projection of perfection, and it's the exact opposite. So naturally they're fascinated by Edward when he comes to town because it's something different. It's something new, and their lives are flat out boring. Now Edward, not knowing any different, they come in, they tell him he needs to get surgery, his hands are wrong, they start telling him he's flawed. It's kind of like when a baby comes into the world, they're perfect, and then all of a sudden we project what to do, what to say, where to be, all on them, and he slowly might become self-conscious. He starts to believe his hands are flawed, when they're not. He's fine the way he is. Yeah, does it hinder him a little bit? Yeah, but it matters what's on the inside, and nobody really recognizes that. Nobody can really see what he is on the inside. So naturally, as the movie and the story progresses, Edward, a genuinely nice being, becoming a part of this world, gets corrupted. His trust and his caringness is taken advantage of, and he gets into trouble, and he just gradually learns that human beings are really at their heart not to be trusted. And he goes back to his castle for an amazing ending. There are so many good scenes in this movie. I don't know if this is my favorite Tim Burton movie. It's probably my second or third. I haven't really ever looked at them. Beetlejuice is probably my favorite, but whatever. Anyway, it's a beautiful fairy tale story. It has an amazing ending where it combines darkness but also positive satisfaction, which Tim Burton was able to pull off magically. I kind of drifted away. I went through a Tim Burton phase and I kind of drifted away, and then coming back to this, I realized when he was in his early years, making the Batman movies, Pee Wee Herman, Beetlejuice, he was in his absolute prime. And my favorite moments in the movie are when Edward is with Peg, because it's two beautiful beings, I'll just say people for lack of a better word, and they're together when she's helping him get dressed and she's introducing him to their stuff. My favorite little moment, it's like half a second. So Edward cuts up his shirt that Peg gives him, so she's sewing new buttons onto it, and she has this long string, and for half a second she's looking around for scissors, and then she says, "Edward, do you mind?" And he just moves his hands and he cuts it, and he just has a quick little smile of genuine happiness. All their moments together are absolutely beautiful. Obviously, the parts with Winona Ryder, because I forgot to mention, he stays with Peg and her family, the Boggs family. They have a teenage son who's just a teenage kid, and they seem to be the only genuine people in the town, because obviously there's an exception to every rule. The dad's probably the most stereotypical, but even his mannerisms, the way he talks is funny. It's got great levity throughout, but yeah, that family's good. Obviously the Winona Ryder and him part is very sweet, but I really like his relationship with Peg. But there's that little side love story with him and the daughter, because she starts to realize what real is all about, what genuine nice is all about. And that's what the movie is. It's an absolutely beautiful story. There's Anthony Michael Hall, who is Brian the nerd from The Breakfast Club, is in this. I always had a little thing, after that Saturday in detention, he kind of turned like John Bender, and he became the character in Edward Scissorhands. Maybe Johnny Depp, maybe Tim Burton, I'm sorry, thought the same thing, hopefully. But yeah, the characters are so well written, and it does project that level of fakeness. I've been to areas in my where I live that feel like this. It just feels like everybody's just putting on a facade. Nobody has any personality. Like laughing, talking loud is weird. Like, when you go to certain events and stuff, it's normal to talk loud, but when you're around certain people, it's just like they make you feel self-conscious and you're like, what? It's just, people just want to project a certain thing when the reality is very different. I don't really have any flaws with the movie. All the technical stuff, all the acting is beautiful. It looks gorgeous. The contrast of colors between Edward and all the colorful houses and his castle, very well done. Beautiful score. I didn't want to forget that. This is prime Danny Elfman, who is one of the great composers for movies. He was in a band called Oingo Boingo from the 80s, and then he got into film composing. I'm glad to see a lot of like band members, like Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross are doing that now, and as well as Danny Elfman. Super cool. But yeah, great score, great atmosphere, looks good. All the technical movie stuff is there. Great characters, very funny, good levity, and also just kind of makes you look at yourself. Am I being my true self? Because Edward, that's all he knows what to be. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your time. Hope you guys take care, be well, and have a great rest of your day.